Hello, hello. How are we, everyone? Now I'm going to turn up my sound. I'm hoping that you guys can hear me. I hope that you guys are well today. For those of you watching me on the replay, thank you so much. Well, I thought today that I would ask the question, are you cut out to be a bridal stylist? Because one thing that people ask me all the time, and it's not just other stylists, it's like, you know, friends and family, is how can you stand to be around brides all the time? Do you get lots of bridezillas? What's it like being a bridal stylist? And I thought it was a really good question. So I thought we might talk about what it takes to be a bridal stylist. And I'm going to give you guys some sort of tips on sort of the most effective, what sort of traits the most effective bridal stylists have, and we'll talk a little bit about the benefits of being a bridal stylist as well. So before I get into everything today, good morning from a dreary Australia. It's a bit yucky today here in Melbourne, dark grey skies. But my name is Dawn Rose. I am by day a hairstylist and makeup artist, bridal specialist, and by night I try and help other hair and makeup artists start and grow their business in hair and makeup, while using this wonderful world that is the wedding industry, so that I can help you attract, brides, retain brides as clients, even though brides get married once, and then start creating consistent income in your hair and makeup businesses with the power of weddings. So I thought I'd answer that question today. Are you cut out to be a bridal stylist? Because it's hard work, right? Brides are hard work. You know, we're up sometimes really early in the morning. I don't know about you, but I've had weddings in the middle of the night, you know, starting at like 3 a.m. Going on till, you know, late mornings, even early afternoons. I mean, it's a long day. It's a really, really long day. And I think that bridal attracts certain personality types as well. I wouldn't consider myself as an extrovert. I'm not one to stand on the stage and talk to people and be really, you know, upfront and with people. But I guess I'm not quite an introvert to the fact of I keep myself to myself. I'm very, I think it kind of takes that personality where you can stand up for yourself. You can stand up for your bride too, right? We are the voice of the bride, especially when it comes to sort of conflicts between maybe mums and other bridesmaids. Sisters of the brides, they get me every time. It's always the sister, I find, that we have, the bridesmaid dilla. So, you know, it takes a really kind of, it takes a certain personality type for us to be a really good bridal stylist. You know, we have to work under pressure. Yeah, we're going to have to crack an atmosphere. I mean, I don't know if any of you have ever turned up to a wedding and it's been, you feel the tension in the room, and you've got to crack that atmosphere. You've got to crack that tension, because otherwise it's going to wind your bride up. It's going to become really stressful, and you don't want to put the pressure on the brides. You want to take the pressure from them. So, you know, sometimes as well we have to be really good communicators. I mean, that's kind of like a bit of a given, I think, in our industry anyway, in the beauty and hair and beauty industry anyway. We've got to be really good communicators, but I think sometimes we have to steer the conversation in different directions, because again, like, it's all about cracking that atmosphere. If you feel like the atmosphere is taking a bit of a turn, you've got to be able to sort of help your brides, you know, change the atmosphere, change, you know, the conversation, change, you know, what's going on. But you know, if you know your bride as well as you should know your bride, then, you know, this should come fairly natural to you. But, you know, it's tough. We've got to calm nerves. We've got to be that cool, calm, not asking them, you know, are you nervous? Are you worried about anything? You know, we don't want to bring all that up. Other people are going to say that, oh, are you nervous? And the bride's going to go, oh, no, I'm okay for now, or I am a little bit. And I've had that extreme of a bride who has sat in my chair and shook uncontrollably, and I'm trying to do her makeup, and her face and her head, everything is shaking because she is that nervous. But it's my job to say, okay, let's get away from the situation, let's go outside, let's take a few deep breaths, let's calm down. Because if we can't do that for her, things just start to get on top of them, and it gets worse and worse and worse, and then they end up in tears as well. And I've had that situation too. I've had situations where Mum has decided to sort of take over on wedding day and starting to dictate how the bride should be having her hair. I've had one bride, I had one lovely bride. She came over from another state. She was getting married in Victoria, where I live here in Melbourne. She came from Western Australia. So, you know, it's like a 4-hour plane journey, I think, 3.5 hour, 4-hour plane journey from where she was living in WA. And we'd done a trial because she'd been here, you know, a few months before, and everything had been perfect. And sister had been there as well at the trial. Everything was really happy. On the wedding day, Mum wasn't happy with her hairstyle, and then starts telling me, oh no, you need to backcomb it a bit more. It needs to be a lot higher. And the bridesmaid was sitting in the makeup artist's chair crying by that point, because she was so overwhelmed by the mum. And the bride was she was so subdued. She was like obviously listening to her mum, but was like, didn't really know what to do. And it was up to me. It was up to me and the other makeup artist to change that room around really, really quickly, because I could just feel in my hands that the bride was about to sort of crack. And you know what? Being a bridal stylist, you got to take it, and you got to take criticism on the chin too, because not everybody's going to like what you're doing. But you just have to remember that you are the advocate for your bride. You are her voice, and sometimes they just can't execute what they want to their friends and family because there's too much going on for them. They're not that kind of person. And so you just have to really, really understand your bride really, really well. You know, we've got to be flexible. Flexibility is probably one of the key things of being a bridal stylist, because let me tell you, you have to be prepared for everything on wedding day. Something could happen. Now, it's not like a major disaster as such, but I mean, it could just be the fact that a bridesmaid's late. Maybe they've flown in that morning, their flight's delayed. I've had that before, where a whole bridal party is flown in from Sydney the morning of the wedding, and I'm waiting for the bridesmaids because I've now got 3 hours to get 6 bridesmaids ready and out the door for the bride's wedding, which is at, you know, midday. So, you know, we have to adjust, we have to adapt, we have to have the personality of taking everything on for our bride. We need to take that stress on, but we also need to not let it affect us as well. So you've got to be tough. You've got to be tough to be a bridal stylist, you know. And then yes, there are situations, and I have to say I've been really lucky that I haven't really had any bridezillas ever. Bridesmaidzillas, yes, I've had those mumzillas. I've had some mumzillas in my time. Hey Vicky, I can't count how many times after a trial, bride changes her entire look of the day. You know what, Vicky? And I don't allow them to do that. So I've put this into my contract because, yes, I 100% relate to that, because I've had the same thing where I'll do a certain look, and what's happened is they've gone away from the trial absolutely loving it. We've taken all our photos and everything, and then what's happened is on the day of the day of the wedding, somebody has got in their ear and told them, oh, maybe you should have had this bit here, or maybe we should bring this bit around here and that bit a bit further up. And the thing is that, what does it mean, Vicky? It means we have to do a whole new look, and I got sick of doing it, so now I write it into my contracts that it's not to change on the wedding day. And I actually get them to sign a confirmation on the trial that they're happy with the trial and that they've walked away happy with their trial, and that's the look that they were doing on wedding day. But Vicky, absolutely 100% relate to that. It drives me insane when they change their minds. But yeah, you got to be tough, right? You got to adapt. I think sometimes, you know, obviously on the wedding day, it's not really the time to start picking a fight with your bride about it. And, you know, you also don't want to upset them, right? We don't want to upset them on wedding day. We don't want to say, oh, no, I'm not doing that. And then have wedding day become a downer, and then have that whole wedding party look, reflect badly on us as stylists, when really we haven't done anything wrong. They've changed their mind. But I started to put steps in place so that couldn't happen. I wrote into my contract that, you know, if they needed to change their mind, they could, but they needed to rebook in for a trial before the wedding day. Otherwise, it was going ahead. And I had a bride bring extensions. We never discussed. Oh no, I rolled pretty well though. Yeah, look, yeah, and hair extensions are one of those things, I guess, that if the bride wants it, I guess the bride has to have it. I mean, I've had bridesmaids do that, and again, I've put a policy in my contract to say that if any of them want to wear hair extensions, then I'm happy to place them for them, but they need to provide them to me the week before the wedding, because I like to basically wash, clean them and prep them before the wedding day. So I've made that a policy, not so much for the bride. The bride, I'm happy. I still make the bride give them to me the week before, but I try and discuss, you know, padding and hair extensions and stuff at the trial. But with bridesmaids, I used to find, you know, they'd come and they'd have a full head of hair, and then, and you need my contract, they'd come and they'd have a full head of hair, and then they'd bring me like a pack of hair extensions. And I'm thinking, that's like another full head of hair I've now got to curl because you want hair extensions in. And you know, again, it was another thing that it took me a while to sort of cotton on to the fact of this was becoming a regular occurrence, and I'm ending up spending a lot of time just curling extensions because, you know, most of my clients, I've said before, for me, I always attract, I do attract similar type of brides. It's all about, you know, that whole target market, right? And I have got a specific target market that I attract for my brides, and they're all very, very similar. They all have very, very similar updos. I do a lot of braids. I do a lot of curly updos. But the thing is that the one thing I have in common is the fact that they all have curls. And so when I, you know, used to do the updo, I used to think, oh, it's okay, we can do everyone's updo. And then they'd come to me with this pack of hair extensions. I'm thinking, I don't have time to sit there and curl another, you know, another head. I've done my time according to what the bride has shown me. They've described everyone's hair. They may have even given me pictures of their bridesmaids, which is another thing I actually I ask for. I say, can you give me a few, you know, at least describe the girl's hair for me. You know, are they long? Are they short? You know, are they fine? Are they thick? Just so that I know. And then if they have got hair extensions already in their hair, so say they're actually, you know, the beads or the rings or the tapes or anything, that's absolutely fine. And I'm happy to adjust to that. But as long as I'm told in advance that that's the case, oh, I've got my one bridesmaid, she's got really, really fine hair, but she normally wears hair extensions. And then I've got no issues with that. So I know in my head, okay, and I do have a bridesmaid that's got hair extensions. And that would also then steer me towards the type of style that I would recommend for the bridesmaids as well. Because I'd say, well, you know, your girl with hair extensions, we might not be able to do this in her hair, so do you have an alternative? So look, you know, we've got to, like you said, Vicky, you roll with it, right? Sometimes we will just have to let it go, and we have to kind of be quite hardened as well. You know, we have to be a bit thick-skinned. I don't know if you guys use that term in the US, but you got to be a bit thick-skinned, right? We've got to let it roll off our backs, not worry about it. Yeah. So, you know, you kind of have to, it's all about the personality of a bridal stylist. I think is very different to any other stylist because of the pressure that you're under on that wedding day. And you know, like I said, you know, we've got to calm nerves. You've got to steer conversations in different directions if we really have to. You know, we've got to move away from that whole stress and pressure and kind of take that on for our brides. But I think there's probably, well, I'm going to give you guys 7, I guess, tips to being, you can't take anything personally. You can't. And you know what as well, is that I feel like you can't please everyone. And the thing is that your bride is your target market, right? Your bride is your client. So as long as the bride is happy, you know, I don't really care if sister's not happy or bridesmaid or mum's not happy. They're not exactly my client. Yes, I want to appease them as much as I can, and I do want to go out of my way for the bride to be happy, that her family are happy, but I also have to realize that I'm not, you know, they may not be my target market, right? The bride is my target market. She's the person I attracted. It's her personality that matches with my personality. It's not always mother or sister or bridesmaid or auntie. And in a different situation, they probably would never be my bride because they're not the sort of personality that I attract. But yeah, we can't take anything personally. We just have to let it go, let it just run off our backs, and be really thick-skinned about it. So 7 tips I reckon I've written down here that are kind of what it takes to be a really good bridal stylist. So number 1 is the consultation, right? We need to set our boundaries right at the beginning, and I think it's really important to have a consultation. I've written a blog post about consultations and how I've said this many times, how I'm a diploma qualified florist, and I used to do hair, makeup and flowers for my brides. When I stopped doing the flowers were becoming exhausting for me. So I stepped back from the flowers, stopped doing those, and so I stopped booking in consultations because I thought, well, there's no point in them coming down to my studio, because the reason why they were coming down was to pick their flowers and to look at the books and things like that. And I thought everything else can be done, you know, over email. And when I stopped seeing the brides in person, I stopped booking consultation, I stopped booking brides, and my revenue went straight down because I'd lost that connection with my brides, you know. So I think it's a really good idea that you have a consultation and you do it face to face. If you have to do it on Skype, you do it on Skype, but I go and meet them for a coffee, go round to their house, go round. How about we, you know, if mum's involved, how about we go and see mum and dad with you? Do you want to, you know, I'll meet you over at mum and dad's house and we can talk about your hair and makeup. I think that a consultation is 100% key to being like an effective bridal stylist. Number 2 is obviously going to be your trial. The trial is massive. We have to have a trial. We have to have a trial. There is no doubt in my mind about not having a trial. This is your reputation. So, you know, effective stylists will always have a trial. And I will talk about my 4 T's of bridal, trial being one of them. We'll do that in a separate lives coming up over the next couple of weeks. But trial is huge. Thirdly, scenarios. Think about the scenarios. Think about the things that could happen and be prepared for them. You know, I play things over in my head when I know the bride I'm talking to. Sometimes if they've got flower girls, maybe they've got children, maybe the bridesmaids got children that are going to be there. When I sort of find out those things, I think about what could possibly change or happen. So I think you can play scenarios in your mind and you know, think about how you're going to preempt them in the first place. Scheduling is my 4th tip. You have to plan things, right? We have to schedule things down to a T. Scheduling is huge. If you have a timeline, if you have you know, a schedule that you give to your brides, and I keep a schedule myself. I give it to my other stylist, whoever is coming with me to do the hair or the makeup to help me out, so that we know who's going first, who's going second, who's going third. Because there's nothing worse than turning up to the wedding day and going, right, who's there? No, I don't want to go first. I don't want to go first. You go first. No, you go first. And it's like, oh, somebody sit in my chair. So I basically get the bride to give me all the names, and I'll say, right, I'm going to do maid of honor first, and I'm going to do bridesmaids, and then you're going to come here, or I want to set you up first, and then you can go and sit down for the morning and chill out. I want to put your hair in rollers. Maybe the you know, maybe we need to do mother of the groom, because she has to go over to the groom's house. Okay, we'll get her in my chair first. We'll do mother and sister of the groom. Then you guys can be done. We'll swap, do hair and makeup, and off you go. So a schedule is huge. Number 5 is communication. So for those of you that were on my live broadcast I did with my secrets, you all know one of the secrets that I gave you was all about communication, how we can keep in contact with our brides all the time. So communication is massive when it comes to being a bridal stylist. Number 6 is to have everything in writing, and this goes back to having your policies and procedures documents. If you guys go into the group, the facebook.com/groups/Dawn's Bridal Army. In there I posted a copy of one of my old policies and procedures documents. I may have updated it since then, but you guys can see the types of things that I have written down in my policies and procedures documents, and my brides will get a copy of that when they contact me. And I did on my old website when I was doing solely bridal, and now I'm doing bridal but plus a lot of hair from home as well. But on my old website, which I'm kind of going to go through with you on my part 2 of my secrets webinar, I used to have it so that they could just download it. So you can upload a document onto your website, especially if you're using something like Wix, and they can download your policies and procedures. So they can see already what it is that you kind of expect from them and what they can expect from you. And then you double on that and have it in your contracts as well. So having everything in writing, confirming everything in writing, everything you talk about with your brides, follow it up with an email just to put it in writing so that you're both on the same page. And number 7 kind of goes a little bit with the scenarios, but be prepared. Make notes. I can't tell you how important it is to think about things that are just a little bit different with the bride. So for example, the bride might not have children, but she might have fur babies, right? Take a note of the name of her dog, and then when you arrive, go, oh, you know, where's little Maxie today? Is he around? Oh, he's in the garden. Oh, yeah, we'll see him later on. I said, oh, you know, how's he doing today? You need to be able to relate to your brides with something. Making notes and being prepared, you know, about the bride and knowing things. What if, you know, something's happened to, I don't know, a friend, you know, how's your friend now? Is she coming today? You know, what was the situation with your cousin? Are they attending the wedding? Are they not attending the wedding? Did you get that sorted? The things that you remember about your brides, you know, it doesn't always have to be something that you remember in your head, but you've got them written in your notes. I have a notebook in my car, and I just write a few notes down about what I remember from the trial that I've written down when we did the consultation, when we did the trial, just things that are just a little bit more outside of the box. Being prepared. Also think about the situations where, you know, the bridesmaids might disappear or they're not there on time. I do have a bridesmaid oath. That was a new thing that I introduced in the last couple of years. Vicky, I always bring things like safety pins, needle and thread, even though it's not my job. If zipper pops, I am the lifesaver. Absolutely, Vicky. And I actually do a similar thing. I actually have what I call my SOS kit. So it's the same thing, but that's one of my freebies that I give to my bride. I give them a really little, like a little makeup bag, but it's about this big. It's cost me about $2 in a $2 shop. I fill it with safety pins, bobby pins, band-aids, cotton tips and cotton wool. And sometimes I put like a little pack of tissues in there. That's like a little freebie that I give to my brides and bridesmaids. And I put them in actually one of my own gift bags with my label on it. And I give that to my brides and bridesmaids at the end, and I kind of present it to them. Yeah, and it's a really nice thought. It's something that's cost me, hey Jennifer, it's something that's cost me pennies. Like it's cost me under $5 a person, maybe $3.50 or something. But it's cost me nothing, and it's absolutely it's really been a really nice thing to give to my brides. They get really excited about that. So, you know, kind of being prepared as well for those bridesmaids that are late. I was just saying then, I've got the bridesmaids oath. So I think I'll drop a link to it below in the comments below, but I have a blog post I've written. It's possibly my contracts blog post, which I'm going to be updating over the next couple of weeks. But my contracts blog post, it's all about the importance of a contract, and the free download that comes with that is my bridesmaid oath. And it's an oath that I give to my brides who have a few issues with their bridesmaids, and I say, look, take this, print it out and get them all to sign it. And it basically states that they will do as they're told, and they'll do what the bride says, and whatever the bride says goes, that they won't show up late, and that they'll just basically behave themselves. But, you know, sometimes you can kind of gauge from your brides whether they've got a few bridesmaids that are causing them just a few issues. And that's when I get out my bridesmaid oath, and I think it's a really good idea. Yeah, so you can download that, Vicky. I'll drop a link to it. And that's all about, that blog post is all about contracts. It's about the things that you need to include in your contract, and then it's got that as a download, I'm sure of it. So I'll drop the link below. But yeah, those are the 7 things. So consultation, trial, scenarios, you know, that you need to play out just in case. Scheduling, communication, have everything in writing and be prepared. You know what? The benefits speak for themselves, guys. Like, the benefits of being a bridal stylist, I feel, are huge. You are a lot of the time doing a part-time job for full-time pay. That's why I've loved it so much. It's kind of like that part-time. I also found that by doing just one wedding a week, that kind of was a part-time wage for me in one day. Like I was probably working, maybe from 6 a.m. till 1 p.m. But the money I earned was the same as if I would have worked 2 or 3 days during the week for the same amount of hours. And for me, I've got children that are, one's actually just upstairs right now. Watch it. I think he's playing on the iPad. So he's 4. So he's at home with me. And then I've got a daughter who's at school. So I have to work around those school hours. So for me, and having Lachlan at home with me, oh, Vicky, do you know, I would so love to. 2018 is, what? Say that. Tell me more. Tell me more, Vicky. I really want to do that. 2018 is Australia. Do you mean that you're cruising around this way? Tell me all about that, because I'm very excited. Very excited. I'm just about to go on my first cruise this year, actually. So I'm a bit scared about that. My husband's taking us on a cruise for 10 days around the Fijian Islands and stuff. Is it? Oh, Vicky, you're going to have to tell me more all about that. Drop a link to that on here, on my Facebook page, and drop a link to it. Are you in my group? I think you're in my group too, yeah? If you're not, I'll add you in, and drop a link in there about that too, because that would be awesome. That would be so awesome. Okay, I'm going back to, I'm getting confused. Oh, Sydney. Yeah. Okay. I'm hooked already. I'm there. I am there. Okay, so let's go back. So benefits of the part-time wage in half a day. You, get up early, but generally speaking, you're finished by lunchtime, right? So it can be kind of like a fairly early start, early finish. It's quite well paid. If you're doing this well and you're asking and you're getting paid, what you're worth as a stylist, and this is a skill, right? This is a real skill to do updos. There are many hairdressers that cannot do updos. They just can't do it. I'll have a look at that, Vicky. Absolutely. I didn't realise that it was going to be there. I know this year it's in the US, right? But 2018, that would be awesome. That would be absolutely awesome. It also generates other income, right? So the thing with bridal is that, the reason why we want to attract brides is because we like the whole bridal aspect of it. But that bride then can become your client, can become your regular. I have many of my ex-brides that still come to me now, babies and all, that come and have their hair done with me. They call me and they want their hair up for their night out. They wouldn't go anywhere else because I did their wedding day, and that's, to them, I'm their stylist. Now, lucky for me, I've just started, I hadn't, up until now, I wasn't a hairdresser, but a couple of years ago I qualified as a hairdresser, so I can actually now do my cuts and colours as well. But up until that point, they would just come back to me to have their updos or their makeup done. Now, when I do a bride, I can do their full service. I can book them in for their pre-wedding and post-wedding, honeymoon, and then, they become my regular clients. So you can actually, by attracting brides, you can actually attract new clients in your salons as well. And it really does build your skills. As I said, we all know that we have to keep up with our education. If you guys are looking here, you'll see Vicky's just put hairstylistcruise.com. That is all about education. That is a educational cruise for hairstylists. I'm right, aren't I, Vicky? This is all about education. It's like education all in one place. And, we're all about education. Like, you have to have education in order to grow. And it's a real skill to be an upstylist, to be a stylist, or to be a makeup artist. It's a real skill. So, you really build on your skills when you're working in bridal. I find it's something that, because you probably do quite frequently, you build your skills really effectively. And again, we can go on lots of different courses for that reason. Tax deductible, vacation, tons of education. Awesome, Vicky. All right, well, guys, I hope that you guys are cut out to be a bridal stylist. I'm really excited to hear what you guys think about today's live. And if there's any traits that you feel like that maybe you've become a little bit stronger. Friends and family welcome. All right, awesome. Maybe you've become a little bit more assertive being a bridal stylist. Maybe you started as a bridal stylist and weren't really sure and not really sure how you can build on it. Let me know in the comments. Leave me any questions. You love weddings. I do too. I got certified in eyelash extensions and microblading in October. See, this is awesome, Yulitza. And obviously with you working from home as well, like those are the things that you can offer to your brides to get them to come back to you, right? Eyelash extensions, they have to get refilled all the time. Work that into a package with your bride, you know, work if they want to have, yeah, they are great add-ons, aren't they? I did the same. I do eyelash extensions as well. But I work it out that, you know, they come to me, have their eyelash extensions done, and then we work it out so that they just have the infill done or a fresh set right before the wedding. And then after that, you know, they come back before the honeymoon if they're not going straight away. A lot of my brides, I'm finding, it's probably the demographics again that I attract, but a lot of my brides have a bit of a gap before they go on their honeymoons. It's all about the timing. I've got a lot of European brides. So when I say European brides, they've got, say, the Italian, Greek backgrounds. And so our summer and winter is obviously different to you guys, so we're like opposite. So we're just about to go into winter now for us, so which is June, July, August, but our summer was you know, January, February, March. So for those brides that were getting married like November, December, January, February, they may not go on their honeymoon until it gets warm in Europe, which is June, July, August. So I have sometimes a gap with my brides, so I can actually, you know, do my upselling and my refills of my eyelashes and the cuts and colors leading up to them going on their holidays. I know sometimes when they're getting married, they're going away straight away, but then you get them to come in, you book the appointment for when they come back for that refresh. So, you know, you can think about that with packages and stuff. But guys, that's it today. I am look, I'm being really good actually. I'm going to lift up my phone and show you because look, I'm being very good. I've had my foot up the whole time. I am resting my ankle, and I'll just be chilling out for the rest of the day now. I'm going to watch Brit's live. It's going to be on pretty soon. I reckon she might be on in about half an hour or so. So looking forward to getting on to her live too. But that's it for now. I will drop the link for the contracts post and the bridesmaid oath. So I'm sure it's a download that's attached to my contracts post. But you guys can go to creatingbridalperfection.com. Everything's on there. I've also posted the link for the boot camp that I ran last year. So I did a 5-day boot camp last year before Christmas, and I actually allow that to run now. Every Monday it runs, so anyone can go in and do that. And it's just 5 ways of, you know, boosting your income as a bridal stylist and boosting your business. It's all about, you know, your business and what you can do in your business to attract more brides. So that runs every Monday. You guys can go ahead and watch those videos at any time. And I shall see you guys really soon. We'll be talking about the 4 T's of bridal. I'm going to break them up into those 4 T's. So trial, teach, time, treat, and I'm going to do a live on each of those. So we'll dive a bit deeper into those over the next couple of weeks. Any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I shall get back to you guys as soon as I can. Take care for now and have a great rest of the week. See you guys soon. Bye.